Imagine going to prison for killing your best friend, but you never pulled the trigger. That happened to Earl Truvia. We spoke with him earlier in today's Freedom Files, Wrongfully Convicted.
It's Halloween night, 1975. 15-year-old Eliot Porter never makes it home.
He was a close friend of mine, and I know his family.
As police tape off the scene, a crowd gathers. 17-year-old Earl Truvia notices his friend's lifeless body.
And that moved me to go notify his mom. And when I went and knocked on the door, she came to the door and I told her that was her son that they found under the building.
A couple days later, a neighbor calls police with a very detailed story to tell.
She said me and my co-defendant and the victim passed in front of her window while she was on the third floor smoking a cigarette. Get out of her eyesight, and she heard 2 shots.
Earl is arrested and charged with second-degree murder.
Within the 90 days I'm in jail, I write his mom a letter expressing my condolences, and at the end of the letter, I'm telling her I'm an innocent man.
The DA assures Eliot's mom they have the right man. Their case resting solely on the neighbor's testimony. Not only does the witness say she saw Earl with the victim, but she tells a tale so horrific, Earl's legal team is left speechless.
She said that we broke in her apartment and projected threats for her not to go to the police. And she stated that I had put a pistol to her 18-year-old baby head.
After just 14 minutes of deliberations, Earl is found guilty and sentenced to life in prison. At just 18 years old, Earl enters Louisiana State Penitentiary, also known as Angola.
Kill or get killed. And I had to go there with that demeanor.
The teen embraces the prison culture to survive.
I got caught up in the drug game in prison. I had the deputies bringing me drugs.
There's just one thing that stops him from being fully consumed by the darkness.
That was my fight to prove my innocence, no matter how dark it was. But I had just that much light to believe in.
After 25 years in prison, the Innocence Project gets involved in Earl's case. They find secrets about the state's star witness that were never disclosed at Earl's original trial.
Then she was a drug addict, paranoid schizophrenic. She had a criminal history. She stayed in trouble with the law.
His lawyers also discover that the line of sight the witness said she had is in fact blocked by a balcony. The state grants him a new trial.
I told my attorneys I would die in Angola before I plead guilty to make the government right over me. 30 days later, they dismissed the charge.
After 27 years in prison, Earl is a free man.
Earl, welcome to DBL. Okay, so you've said the one thing that haunts you the most is the why. You want to know why the witness lied, but you actually ran into her after your release. So tell us, what happened when you saw her?
I sit right next to her, and I'd say Sheila Robinson. I just called her name out the blue, and she looked at me. And she asked me who I were. I said Earl Truvia. And she dropped with her mouth open, and she jumped up and went in the car, and I went behind her. And she started crying, and I embraced her, and I told her it's all right. She brought me before the congregation of the church and told her pastor, this guy did 27 years for a testimony that I gave. He was wrongfully convicted.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Wow.
Earl, you say that the second lie has hurt you even more since you've become a grandfather. Tell us why that is.
Well, at the time, I have a grandchild that's right at 18 months, and her testimony was so devastating after I really learned the collateral damage of it. And when I see my grandson, he loved me dearly. And even all around the world, when I see babies and kids at that moment, it triggered in my head what really the jury had pounded upon, and it took them only 14 minutes to get a guilty verdict. And that was her last testimony that stuck out in their head. An 18-year-old kid being threatened with an overgrown man as myself then at that time, putting a gun to her baby head, and that was my best friend that got killed.
Wow.
And so I was charged for killing my best friend.
Oh my God.
Earl, I can't imagine the trauma that you have gone through. What a story. And you also said that you learned quickly it was kill or get killed, right, while in prison. How did you show strength?
Yes.
And how did you survive while in prison?
It's just like when you're in Rome, you live like the Rome. So I knew at my age, I had to defend myself because of the male institution that, you know, I used to hear stories about prison, and now I'm in a situation wrongfully. So I have a double burden I have to protect, as well as being a black man, and the way the prison is designed, that's what it was, only the strong survive. And to test my strength, I had to live just like a gladiator. And I had a couple of altercations. I had to, you know, defend myself and resorted to additional charges. But at that early stage, I was still having a psychological impact upon me. I'm here, and anything that rubbed me wrong, I mean, I had to defend to the best of my ability. I thank God I had my faith in a prayer life and to keep my strength and my sanity, and that basically contained me having a prayer life and trusting God through it all.
All right. Well, Earl, thank you for sharing your story and for the transparency. Wow.